Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Credentials Podcast. I'm your host, Joey. How the heck are ya? It has been a little bit since I've recorded a pod, but we're back. We're back in action. Had a couple pods that were recorded but unreleased, so those finally got recorded. Those are out now, and now it's about getting the pod back rolling. So I'd love to get some more people in. If you're down to come on the pod and chop it up, just talk to me. Come on. But don't expect to get interviewed because I'm not interviewing anyone. I'm not asking questions. I want to talk about me. That's why I started a podcast, so I could talk more. No, I'm just kidding. But it is funny what this has become, because sometimes we come on and I have a great back and forth, a great conversation, and then sometimes people come on and think they're going to get interviewed, and it's like I'm not preparing a single question, bud. Unless maybe you got something. Most people are interesting in their own respect, and I've had a lot of interesting people on, so there's probably something I'm going to ask you and just get to know you a little bit. But more than anything, I'm just looking to chop it up and have good conversations. And I think those are the best conversations or best podcasts that I listen to, are just when two people are just having a conversation, having fun, talking about something, figuring something out. And what's really cool about the pod actually is that it allows this untethered back and forth format that would totally not happen in almost any other scenario, especially if you look at the particular people meetups, right? Because I've had, this will be if I release this, will be maybe 39, episode 39 or 40. So say I've had 38 people on. I have maybe 4 close friends, 5 close friends. What about the other 30 people? They're friends of mine. I actually have quite a lot of friends, but not people I hang out with regularly or even ever. But I have a podcast, come over and let's just fucking talk, which is hilarious because it's if the cameras weren't here, if I didn't have any microphones, in what other scenario could I just be like, hey, you want to come over to my house and just conversate with me? People would be like, dude, are you okay? Is everything all right? That's hilarious. So it's funny that now, just with a couple mics, couple cameras, it's allows you an opportunity to talk to whoever for a long time. And so these best conversations happen when we're just chopping it up, just talking. But sometimes it's hard to get people to come over. It's been a little bit since I had it. I got out of the momentum, the rhythm of just posting all the time. And it's funny how much momentum matters in every single thing you do. And even with the pod, it's I think for a brand new podcast, I was getting pretty good views. It's I could care less about the views. I started to, just talk to people. It's not my main focus, but obviously it's a metric to see where you're at. If the podcast is growing, if it's, they have some value. If it's 0 people that watch, you're like, okay, well, what the fuck me then. And if it's 1 million people that watch, that's a lot. It's okay, wow, this is, it means something. So it's I think for a brand new podcast, I was getting pretty good views. It was I don't know, a couple hundred usually, or at least 100 about, and then up to maybe 500 or 600 views an episode, which is very little, especially in comparison to most videos on YouTube or most legit podcasts or whatever you want to, most legit. There's plenty of people that are doing fucking videos of cats that are getting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views. So it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but for a brand new podcast, it's not so bad. And then I take this big break and I release a couple, and then they get 10 or 20 or something like that. I haven't checked the most recent, but something like that. Not very many. And it's I don't know what the reason is. It's who were the people who are watching it before? Why did they stop? Is it, what is it? What the hell is it? But I think it's just maybe just a loss of momentum. And that's I guess just in everything in life. One thing that I feel that really gains momentum for me is when I take long sober streaks. Anytime I take a long break from alcohol, I feel I just gain so much momentum. I feel that when I do drink, it almost stops my momentum. And maybe I have a fun night or whatever, but then I feel shit the next day, even if I don't feel terrible, even if I have 2 or 3 drinks. It's it takes a little bit of a reset, and then the next day, and then it's by Wednesday or something, I'm feeling really good. If I drank on Saturday. And it's not like I'm feeling terrible by Monday or Tuesday, but by the time I'm like back in the rhythm of things and fucking, firing on all cylinders and really getting after it. And my job is more, it's like a lot of that is I don't know. I guess I'm sensitive to like whether I am doing good or not, or whether I do have good days. It's not like I just show up and clock in and then I get through my 8 hours and then clock out. It's like I could show up and do nothing and no one cares. I could show up and fucking bang out 250 cold calls. Also, no one cares. All that matters is if I produce and if I'm making money. And the only way to make money is to fucking close the sandwich, as a older colleague of mine would say. But yeah, I feel like I just gain so much momentum when I take sober streaks, and I think that it's so good for me too. But sometimes I don't know what it is. It's just the elixir of a fucking drink that like pulls you back in. It's not like I don't think I have a problem or anything, but it's also like I just feel my life gets uh I feel like I build more momentum without it. It's like I went to Santa Barbara earlier this year and I had an ayahuasca trip and I stopped drinking alcohol completely after that for about 3 months. And I feel fantastic. And then I bought a house and I had a drink that night. And that's like kind of broke my streak. And I think I've not been drinking a ton since then, but and I don't know what the true answer is. Like, is it to abstain completely? I do feel like I have it definitely enhances fun in certain occasions. You go to a place, have a drink or two, and it's like a social lubricant. You're talking it up, you're chopping it up with people, you're having a good time, you're laughing. It's definitely a useful drug, but it's like, I don't know, a drug that probably is net negative no matter what. Like, you go to like I'll go on these long sober streaks and I've gone on like longer before too, and like you'll go to party with people and you can party and like do stuff and have fun. I'll go out to the bars with people, not drink, and it's like after the first drink or two, no one even fucking knows you're not drinking. But it's not to say I'll abstain for my whole life. I think I'll keep alcohol as part of my, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I'll continue to drink on occasion, but I just feel, especially right now, I'm just like, I've got so much stuff going on. I got this house. I've been remodeling it, put a lot of money towards it, got a lot of bills and stuff. Living in two places now too, a lot of bills coming up. I'm just trying to make as much money as I possibly can. And being a commission-based salesman, it's like nothing's guaranteed every day. So I got to go in and I got to pour it on every single day. And so when I'm not pouring it on or when I'm not doing my best, I feel it and I feel like shitty about it. So I feel that I'm more confident. I feel better with myself when I'm just fucking pouring it on every single day. And it's more difficult to pour it on when I have these breaks in momentum. And so, yeah, it's just like life is not fucking easy. And it's not meant to be, and I don't want it to be. I want it to be difficult. I want it to be challenging because it's just like if anything was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. The stuff that's more difficult has it's like the higher the mountain, the better the view. The more difficult to climb, the better the view at the top. And right now, everything is just it's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult times in history, I think. It's like 50 years ago, you could be the manager of a grocery store and fucking feed your family of three and have your wife stay at home and be able to afford a house and do all these things. And it's like now, if you're a grocery store manager, you could not do dick. You could barely afford an apartment in a decent part of town. I've had impressive income years and I could barely afford, like a house that I like. Very mid-tier, just maybe barely above the median home level in Arizona, the median home price in Arizona, which is about 450,000, which is crazy because a couple years ago it was like fucking 250,000, not that long ago. So it's never been more difficult, I think, probably ever than it is right now. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna just fucking sit and cry, or are you gonna fucking try your best? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying my best out here and just getting after it every single day. It's just my default emotion is anger towards it. And I think it's good because I get pissed off when I see like a really nice house. I'm like, fuck, I want that fucking thing. And it just like, I don't know, I just use it for fuel and for motivation that like, what does that guy do for work? You know? That's what makes me think. I'm like, what the fuck does that guy do for work? I remember when I very first started at Insight, which is my company, I worked two jobs for the first like 3 years. And then around like year 2 to 3, I was working, or maybe around year 2, I was working for El Choro, which is a restaurant in Paradise Valley. And my job is like Scottsdale and Shea. El Choro, if you know where it is in Paradise Valley, it's on Lincoln, right in between Mummy Mountain and Camelback Mountain. And in that area between Scottsdale Road and Tatum on both sides of Lincoln is some of the most expensive real estate in all of Arizona. And I remember, I'd get to work at whatever, 7, 8 a.m., work till 3 o'clock, and then I have 3:30, I'm starting at El Choro. And I would leave maybe 3, maybe I'd leave at 2:45 or something just to take a little break. And I would just drive around the neighborhoods and look at this fucking insane real estate. These $10 million houses, $20 million houses, people asking $50 million for a house. I just saw on TikTok till the other day, but it won't happen. But still, that's a crazy price to ask. That guy had a fucking like underground lair in his house. He's got like a underground, like a gun range, a bowling alley. It looked like something that like a Batman villain would have. It looks sick. And I don't know if I'd want a gun range downstairs. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It just seems kind of crazy. I would rather have, what would I have downstairs? I think it would just be like a secret room. I think it would be like something, you know, I don't know. What do you do down there? What do you need it downstairs? It's like, I guess if there's like an apocalypse, you need just to be downstairs. I guess it'd have it loaded with guns. That would be pretty sick. Have a good shooting range. Then it's not as loud. It's crazy to be able to shoot in like a residential area just because you're underground. But yeah, at the time I would just go around and look at these impressive real estate, and it's kind of cool to look at it and see like, what the fuck do these people do for work? It's like still not a question I really know. Like you just look at most of these and you have no clue. But you know, I listen to Earl Nightingale. I think is like a really good person too. Really good inspirational guy. He was like I don't know, motivational speaker or whatever you want to call it in like the 50s. And he's got this little 20-minute video. You should watch it. It's called like 20 Minutes to Change Your Life by Earl Nightingale or something. And it's one of his tapes that he recorded at the time, because that's what you would release if you wanted to do something like that, was fucking cassette tapes for people to listen to. And one of the things that he mentioned, and I'm going to fucking butcher it because I don't know. It's been actually probably years since I've listened to it, but it's like it's like the people with the most money are those who have created the most value. And obviously there's exceptions to that. There's people who are born rich and whatnot, but it's not useful to think of those exceptions. Of course there's fucking born rich people. Who cares? There's also people that were born with no legs and no arms and blind. You want to constantly compare yourself to those, or do you constantly compare yourself to those people? Think like, wow, look at these fucking arms I have and these legs I have. I'm so great that I can see. No, you don't do that. But you look at this super rich kid that was born that way and you're like, what a fucking piece of shit. Can't believe, but there's just no value in that. You got to take a fucking stoic approach to that and just control what's within your control. I can't control that I wasn't born rich. I can control how hard I work. I know there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that were born a lot poorer than I and that are a lot richer than the richest people in fucking town. So I know it's possible. So I'm just going to go out there and work my ass off. And that's what I'm going to do. So yeah. Yeah. So these people, these houses, they've created a lot of value. A lot of them are like, and certain ones I know, there's like a billionaire on the south side of Camelback that owns this, like, I think like a chip company. I think the name of his company is also Insight, although I don't know what they do. But he got a pretty sick house, and I heard he hosts sick parties. And that's what's kind of hilarious too, is that like as you get into luxury real estate, one of the main things that they talk about, or luxury residential real estate, one of the main things that they talk about is like the party hosting ability of it. This is like great for it's the ultimate hosting space, because part of having a sick house is so you can like have people over and like host parties. Like that's another thing. People think that like super rich people are stuck up. Most of them, or a lot of them are, it's like there's a spectrum obviously, but there's a lot of fucking really fun rich people. And a lot of these people like have these spaces, and especially when it gets to the ultra wealthy, it's like, it like you see these houses, like I've like clicked around in this, like in Paradise Valley area, Arcadia area. Some people have 20,000 square foot houses with 5,000 square foot guest houses. I mean, come on. What the fuck? A 5,000 square foot guest house? Can you imagine going to your boy's house and like, hey, can I stay the weekend here? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just get in the guest house. And it's 5 times as big as the home you live in. But it, like in those cases, I feel like it just becomes like a statement of wealth. People want to buy their home. No longer, it becomes less of a home and more of a trophy that you live in. You live in this trophy that you get to show to your friends. And I think that's kind of sick. I don't know if I'd ever want a 20,000 square foot house. I think that's just too much. Like 5,000 square, if you've been in a 5,000 square foot house, it's like a mansion. It's so big. It's fucking crazy. Like one of the first houses that like I grew up in was like, I want to say like 1,100 square feet or 1,200 square feet. And in the early 2000s, when the real estate market was doing great and booming, my dad he's a general contractor. He was making good money at the time. He builds this big house in Rio Verde, and it was like 3,800 square feet. And I remember at the time, me and my brother and sister, we went from this 1,100 square feet to 3,800 square feet. And we're like, we got to get MTV Cribs up in this bitch. Because it was so crazy to be in this house that like was just, it felt like a mansion to us. Like we truly, literally believed that we could be on MTV Cribs. It was so sick. And now, like, as far as like luxury residential real estate, 3,800 is a little small, actually, which is crazy to think. But yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I live in a 950 square foot condo. The house I bought is like a little over 1,800 square feet. So it'll be a huge upgrade for me. And I'm super excited. I'm absolutely stoked, actually. I'm doing a lot of remodels and I'm going to make it my own. I've got this sick toilet, a wall mounted toilet, a Toto, that I am absolutely stoked for. So, and a bunch of other things, obviously, but the toilet was quite hefty. Actually, look up on Toto. There is no limit to how much you could spend on a toilet. You wouldn't fucking think. You could buy, if I just actually looked today, because my other toilet has like this leak in it, so I gotta maybe replace that, or I think I could just seal it or something and make it better, but I'm not sure. I gotta see where the leak's coming from. But you could buy a toilet for as cheap as like $90. And then on Toto, you can buy a toilet for as expensive as like 40 grand. Which is just nuts. It's like, what does that toilet do? Does it give you blowjobs after you take a shit? But oh my God. But I'm super excited about the house. It's gonna be sweet. I'm on a 1/4 acre now. Me and my gorgeous fiance are gonna raise chickens. We're gonna grow vegetables. That's gonna be super cool. It already has 2 raised garden beds over there. I'm gonna be dialing all that stuff in once I finally move in, and I am just so stoked. I'm so appreciative that I'm gonna be able to be in this beautiful space. One thing that I was like had this sort of epiphany moment. I think it felt like I was stoned, although I remember I know I was sober. I came in, I was just looking around my backyard, and I'm like, God fucking damn it! I got this with hard work. I just like worked, and like now I have this sick place that I can like live in and raise babies in and like be my homestead and do whatever the fuck I wanted, and I'm in a condo right now, and I have a fucking neighbor. I get punched through that wall and like maybe touch my neighbor over there. I think they work from home. They like work upstairs. I'm on the upstairs in my place right now. I get punched through that wall and like touch a person. I'm that close to other people. be like on top of other people. I don't want that. I want to be space. I'd be away from people. Eventually I want like 5 acres of space and be like really away, have like a lot of space, to do shit. And with that land, you could do a lot of other stuff too. It's crazy. Like talking about like luxury real estate and people who have nice places. There's this guy on the south side of Camelback. I don't know who that is. Probably a fucking scammer. I get so many scam calls. There's a guy on the south side of Camelback Mountain, north side of Camelback Road, who's got like, I want to say about 10 acres there. And he's got a go-kart space in on his property. Not, I want to say go-kart, or like it might even be like a dirt bike track, basically on the on his property. It's insane. And he bought like a contiguous lot recently and built this like 10,000 square foot garage just to hold all of his cars. It looks sick. And the guy's like 5'4" or something. You wouldn't expect all that much money out of such a small man. But yeah, I'm looking at it now on the maps. It's like it's a dirt track. So whatever he does with that, it's probably like dirt bikes or something. I imagine it's right next to the Phoenician, so the golf course. I mean, you could be on some sort of hole and be like looking in at his racetrack. So I can't imagine he's allowed to do like loud gas vehicles, but who knows? Who knows? But that's sick. That's crazy that guy has that. But anyways, so, I just look at all this stuff as inspiration and for what I want to do. And it's like, there's a lot of reasons to want a lot of money. It's not because, I don't know. I'm not sure what the negative, one thing that's interesting is growing up, middle class, probably less than that in my earlier years. So my mom started just absolutely getting after it and murdering it. Shout out to my mom for being one of the most amazing people in the world. And she, before then, probably even less than middle class, but growing up in like, that sort of environment and like not, just not growing up with money, I grew up with this sort of opinion of rich people that like they're fucking shitty. They're just shitty people, and they like must have got their money by fucking people over or doing something bad. And I just had this negative opinion of rich people. And it was interesting. It was actually an LSD trip. I remember exactly. I was getting off of work from El Choro, actually. Probably like a 16-hour day or something is what it would be, because I'd leave my house at 7 a.m. and not get home until midnight or 1 a.m. or so. And it was about a 35-minute drive home, and I would take a couple tabs of acid, but on my way back, I only did this maybe like 3 times or something, but because it's about a 30-minute drive, so it's not like you're going to be tripping by the time you get home, but then I don't have to wait 30 or an hour I don't have to wait that come up time to get home. Like I've got 1 day off a week. I got to utilize it. I got to make do with this time. So, if I'm staying up hours, or in this case, probably all night, which is kind of crazy to think about right now that I would even do that. But I remember at this time, I took a couple tabs of acid on my way home, and I like had this massive epiphany that like wealth is good. And like it was like this reconciliation of in my head of like, I'm a commission-based salesman. My goal is to make money. Like it's very sort of in your face that way, much more so than when you're in an hourly job. I feel like you're sort of disconnected from your service to the money connection, because you make this agreement with your employer right at the time of employment that, hey, my time is worth this amount and you agreed and pay me this amount, and so I show up for this time, you got to pay me that amount. But you can show up and fuck off and you get paid that amount still. And so you because it's whatever, that's just part of the agreement. So I feel like you disconnect yourself from your actual service, because you obviously you put together a good face for the job interview or whatever, and that part of it you're putting a lot of effort into, but then once you actually get the job, you can really fuck off and you can still make the same amount of money. When you're a commission-based salesman, that's not the case. You got to be on point all day. You got to be trying your best, and you got to be giving good service. And that's the only way to get people, have people to do business with you, is you got to try your best and actually try to provide value for these people. You got to show up to work every day, whether you feel good or bad, and you got to call people who usually don't want to talk to you and show you that I can be a valuable service for you, sir. And I don't say it that way. You come up with a good way to say it. But basically what you're trying to tell someone is like, hey, this property that you own, I know you have a job, but you've got this and that going on. My job is to fucking know what's going on. And so I probably know more about your property than you do, because I've been studying this shit night and day for 12 hours a day, every single day. And so I know that this property right next to you sold. I know this one sold over here. I know this one is under contract. I know this one sold for above what it should have, because there was these details going on. The guy did a carry bag and accepted 5% down. And so he was really able to inflate his price. And then this guy probably undersold his land. I mean, he's got a great location. He was going it off of this comp over here, but in reality, it's probably worth this. That guy who owns the property has no clue of any of that, because he's not studying this shit like I am. So I have to provide value. So you're very connected to the value you're providing and your ability to make money, because the only way I get paid or able to close a transaction is if I provide true value. And when you're fucking valueless, when you start, it's like so apparent. And, you know, you get hit with a lot of questions and you just fall on your face and cut your teeth, and, you know, you slowly get better. But I was driving home, and I had this, like, you know, grew up with this opinion of negative rich people, but I'm like trying to make money, and there's certain people around me that are making tons of money, and they're fucking pretty cool people, actually. And so seeing that, and I'm like trying to like wrap this around in my head. And at the same time too, my dog was needed surgery in her knee, and it was going to cost $6,000, and I had to spend my entire life savings at the time, which was like $3,000. And, you know, thank God my mom was split it with me. And so, but I was completely depleted of my little $3,000. My mom actually had to come out of pocket to help me on this, and to save my dog's fucking leg. It was either that, or she just walks around with one leg. You know, it was like she would live a horrible life with this one, you know, torn ACL in one leg if we didn't do it. And there was so much stress on you know, me, as far as having to pay for this. And I'm coming home, I'm tripping, and I had this realization that, like, money is good. It's a good thing. I could get as much as I want. I want to get as much as I want, so I never have to worry about fucking a bill for my dog. I want it to be a $20,000 bill, and I could care less, because that's my fucking baby, and I will do anything to protect her. And, you know, my future kids, I want to be able to have a financial wall that's impregnable, that no matter what happens in my life, I'll be able to take care of us. And I want to, you know, just do every single thing that is within my capability to do that. I want to be able to have my wife just stay at home and raise babies. She can work if she wants to, but only because she wants to, and not because she has to. And I want my kids to never have to worry about money. And I want this to be a fantastic, beautiful thing. And that's what it is. So I thought I heard something. I thought maybe I heard someone come home. But yeah. So I had this realization, and it was a fantastic realization. And since then, I'm like, dude, money's good. Let's fucking try to get some. Try to get some of this shit. And it's fucking, it's not easy. No, but I'm trying my best out here. I'm going to continue to try my best. I went on a rant, and oh, it's my cat that's busting around. I'm getting distracted over there, but I ordered DoorDash a little bit ago, and I got that food at the front door. So that was pretty good. I have more to rant about, but I will be back later. I've got some shit to do. I got to eat. And today I had another really long day. Actually, it's 8:30 p.m. right now. I left my house at what time did I leave? Like 6:20. Taught a 7 a.m. jiu-jitsu class. After that, went to a BizNow event in North Scottsdale. Kind of hyped me up. I saw some guys in there, some speakers that really I like what they got to say. Some local developers that I've known and or seen, been in the scene. I saw them at the beginning of their career when I started, like almost 10 years ago, and now they've, this one guy, he was just a little like building this, building that. Now he's said he's built 300 million square feet of retail space. I mean, that's insane. And he's also a little, I don't know what me about bringing up little guys, but he's also like, I don't know, you just expect like rich, powerful people to be big, but he's a super fucking cool guy. I mean, I really take a lot of inspiration from this person. And maybe it's because I'm a little guy. I'm not that big. No, I'm fucking huge. I'm above average, actually. 5'9", tall king right here. I'm not part of the short kings. 5'7" below is short king. I'm part of the tall kings, all right? So I'm just kidding. But then a bunch of other work. And so now it's 8:30 p.m. and I just got home 30 minutes ago right before I started this. Figured I'd pop on a pod, start talking while my food gets here, but I think it's here. I got the DoorDash notification. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was fun. Maybe I'll start making more solo rants. I'll get better at solo ranting too. Just kind of was talking whatever came into my mind. So I'll do it again if I feel like it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. And I got to have a to-go music so it sounds sick from here, but none right now. Talk to you later.